Let's jump right into this explainer. Right now, there is a massive structural shift happening in spatial computing, and it's all about the evolution of virtual reality characters. For decades, we've been stuck with these scripted, kind of animatronic robots. But today, thanks to large language models being embedded directly into real-time game engines, we are literally witnessing the birth of dynamic, spatially aware agents. Picture that frustrating reality we all know a little too well. Traditional NPCs. They repeat the exact same 3 lines of dialogue in an endless loop, staring blankly ahead with animations that are just painfully stiff. It's like their mouths are full of peanut butter. Now contrast that with the new paradigm, AI-driven NPCs. These characters aren't just reading from some pre-written script anymore. They're generating dialogue in real time. They're adapting instantly to wild, unexpected questions, and they're actually recognizing the physical space around you as you move through it. So the central question I want you to keep in the back of your mind as we go through this explainer is simply this. What if the characters in your VR world could actually surprise you? What if they could think, react, and actively participate in your environment, rather than just passively narrating it from the sidelines? Okay, let's start with part 1, the old way, and specifically the dialogue tree problem. In virtual reality, immersion is absolutely everything, right? When you are physically embodied in a digital space, literally standing right next to a character, a bad NPC shatters that illusion instantly. Take this quote from a review of the VR game, The Boys Trigger Warning. The reviewer pointed out that the characters felt so wooden and poorly rendered, their mouths looked more like they were chewing on peanut butter than actually speaking. And yeah, when you combine bad lip syncing with those rigid, pre-recorded dialogue trees, where your only choices are A, B, or C, the whole world just feels completely dead. Which brings us to part 2, the new tech powering conversational VR. To fix this massive immersion problem, platforms like Inworld AI, Convai, and Meta's own AI research teams are essentially giving these characters a digital nervous system. It breaks down into a pipeline that's strikingly similar to our own human senses. First, they use ears to listen via real-time speech to text. Second, they think, using a large language model as their brain to rapidly process the context of your conversation. Third, they speak, using advanced text-to-speech engines. And finally, they act, using tools like Convai's NeuroSync to actually analyze the audio waveform and drive highly accurate facial animations and lip syncing. And the craziest part? It all happens in real time, completely without a human animator. This leads us to a fundamental paradigm shift in gaming. We're moving away from action to dialogue, where you press a button and the NPC passively comments on it, to what we call prompt to action. With dynamic context and spatial vision, these AI characters can actually see your real-world room through your headset's passenger cameras. They aren't just narrators anymore, they're active participants. For example, if you place a real-world coffee cup on your real-world desk while in mixed reality, the AI character can literally look down, acknowledge the cup, and comment on it. They can navigate around your physical furniture and execute actions based on what's happening live. It's a real game changer.
Let's look at part 3, real examples. The good, the bad, and the downright hilarious.
Games that build their core mechanics entirely around this AI unpredictability, they are absolutely thriving right now. Take AI 2U, for example. It's a VR escape room, heavily reliant on AI interaction, and it currently holds a 90% positive rating on Steam, with players literally calling the responses shockingly natural. Or look at Death by AI. In this one, players have to physically talk their way out of lethal scenarios generated by an AI game master. It pulled in 20 million players in just 2 months. Why? Because the wild novelty of the AI is the entire game. You weren't playing a pre-written story, you were constantly trying to outsmart a live mind. But, when developers try to just bolt AI onto traditional games, it can go hilariously wrong. Take the Wuxia RPG Where Winds Meet. It features this meticulously crafted historical setting, but because players could chat freely, one AI NPC ended up suggesting the player deep fry potatoes with ketchup, even while simultaneously hallucinating an acknowledgement that ketchup didn't actually exist during the Song Dynasty. I mean, it's incredibly funny, sure, but it completely shatters the game's carefully crafted lore. It's not just silly dialogue holding the industry back, though. There are some really hard technical limits. The #1 complaint from players right now is memory amnesia. That's where an NPC completely forgets your deep emotional interaction just 5 minutes later. Then there's latency. A game called The Quinfall launched to terrible reviews, largely because conversations had a 3 to 4 second delay, which just instantly kills your VR presence. On the business side, unexpected cloud costs are absolutely brutal. Death by AI actually saw their API bills skyrocket from $5,000 to $250,000 in just 2 weeks. And finally, player sabotage. Because let's be real, Give a gamer a microphone and their absolute first instinct is always to try and break the AI.
Now, on to part 4, the big questions around ethics and the uncanny.
On the positive side, AI and VR can act as a remarkably powerful social sandbox. Look at Tumsphere, for example. It's a VR orientation platform used by international students. Research actually shows that practicing new languages, or even just everyday administrative tasks with an AI agent, significantly lowers social anxiety. It gives vulnerable users this fantastic, low-pressure, completely judgment-free environment to practice human interaction before going out and doing it in the real world. But of course, the flip side of all that autonomy is inherent unpredictability. Handing the script over to an algorithm carries massive risks. For example, when an AI-driven Darth Vader was introduced to Fortnite, players actively tricked the model into saying inappropriate slurs within mere hours. There's a very real design concern regarding our lack of control over what a language model might blurt out. And that sits right alongside deeper ethical questions like, what happens if players start forming unhealthy emotional attachments to these highly persuasive, yet completely synthetic virtual companions? This brings us to our final section, Part 5, the next 3 years, and the move towards world models. We're looking at a massive architectural leap coming in the next few years. Right now, large language models are essentially just text predictors, right? They just guess the next word based on linguistic patterns. But future world models are designed to predict the next physical state of an environment. Instead of just understanding words, they'll understand spatial relationships and physics. They maintain object permanence in a 4D simulation of space and time, so an AI won't just talk to you, it will understand that a ball rolls down a hill, or that a virtual dog is still hiding behind the virtual couch, even if it can't actively see it anymore. It's a fundamental leap from just experiencing text to actually experiencing physics. We've definitely covered a lot of ground today. From the rigid peanut butter mouths of the past, to the spatially aware, sometimes hallucinating AI agents of today, all the way to the physics-driven world models of tomorrow. So I want to leave you with this final thought. As these systems become faster, smarter, and incredibly persuasive, would a fully conversational AI companion in VR make you more or less immersed, or would it just completely creep you out? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the virtual worlds around you.